Have you ever felt defeated? Like everything you worked so hard for just slipped through your fingers? You're not alone. The truth is, failure is not the end. It's often the beginning of something greater. It's the push, the redirection we need to reach our destiny. Imagine Thomas Edison, who famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Each of those 10,000 attempts brought him one step closer to the success of creating the light bulb we now use every day. Failure wasn't his final stop. It was the stepping stone to something brighter. The Bible gives us a similar reminder in Proverbs 24, verse 16. For though the righteous fall 7 times, they rise again. Here, we see a promise of resilience. Failure is not our defeat. Falling down is inevitable, but rising up is our choice. Failure doesn't define you, it refines you. Each failure teaches us something that success never could. Every setback reveals areas where we need to grow, learn, and strengthen our faith. When you stumble, think of it as God's way of helping you gain strength for the journey ahead. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. James 1 verses 2 to 3. Every time we fall, we're given an opportunity to grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient. When we look back on our journey, we'll see that each failure was part of God's refining fire, shaping us into who He created us to be. Sometimes, failure is simply a sign that we're on the wrong path. God might be using it to redirect us to something better, something we couldn't see on our own. The beauty of faith is knowing that God has a plan that we might not always understand in the moment. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. Romans 8 verse 28, even when a door closes, trust that God is orchestrating your journey. Every no from the world could be a divine yes for something greater on the horizon. Failure builds a level of perseverance and resilience we can't find in success alone. The muscles of our faith are strengthened each time we choose to rise up again. With each setback, we gain the strength to handle even greater challenges. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. Isaiah 40 verse 31. Lean on God's promises. He renews our strength when we are weary, and His purpose for us is unshakable, no matter how many times we fall. Picture this. You've given your all. You've poured every ounce of energy, time, and heart into something, only to watch it fall apart. We've all been there, right? But here's the truth. Failure is not a dead end. It's a detour, a crucial bend in the road leading us to something far greater. There's a purpose even in our greatest disappointments. Thomas Edison, who saw failure over 10,000 times before he succeeded, saw each attempt as a stepping stone toward a victory that would change history. Each misstep wasn't an error, but a lesson, a refining step toward his ultimate success. This reminds me of the words in Proverbs 24 verse 16. For though the righteous fall 7 times, they rise again. This scripture paints a powerful image, not just of falling, but of the strength to rise repeatedly. We too can choose to stand back up, not despite our failures, but because of what they teach us and where they lead us. Failure isn't a label, it's a lesson. Many of us fear failure because we're afraid of what it says about us. But what if failure is God's way of growing us, of expanding our capacity to handle even more? It's not a verdict on our potential, but a training ground for our purpose.